Hey everyone, tonight we're tuning into something a little different, something that blurs the line between entertainment and, well, let's just say involuntary participation. Picture this. You're flipping through channels, maybe a little restless, the soft glow of the TV screen reflecting in your tired eyes. Outside, the night is quiet. Perhaps a gentle rain is tapping against your window, or maybe the crickets are serenading you to sleep. You're looking for something to unwind to, a bit of mindless reality TV perhaps, something to just let wash over you. Little do you know, in the vast landscape of anomalous phenomena, there exists a reality show that takes the concept of viewer engagement to a whole new and terrifying level. You probably wouldn't even make it past the opening credits of this one. So before you get too comfortable on that couch, take a quick moment to like this video and subscribe, but only if you have a morbid curiosity about television that bites back. And while you're at it, tell me in the comments where you're watching from and what late night shows are keeping you up. It's always interesting to see what corners of the world are brave enough to delve into these digital depths with me. Now grab your favorite blanket, maybe turn down the lights a little more, and let's channel our attention to the strange case of SCP-1173. You find yourself staring at a static-filled television screen. A faint buzzing sound emanates from the speakers, the only break in the visual and auditory noise being the occasional flicker of distorted colors. The air in the room feels strangely heavy, almost expectant. You've been tasked with observing a recovered electronic device, specifically a standard cathode ray television set that seems to be the point of origin for an anomalous broadcast known as SCP-1173. The Foundation first became aware of SCP-1173 through a series of increasingly bizarre missing persons reports in a small, isolated town. Locals described individuals becoming obsessed with a newly aired reality television program that seemed to appear on random, unused channels. These viewers would become completely engrossed in the show, eventually ceasing all other activities, including eating and sleeping. After a period of intense viewership, the individuals would inexplicably vanish from their homes, leaving behind only the television set still tuned to the anomalous broadcast. Initial investigations revealed that the television sets displaying SCP-1173 were not connected to any external broadcast source. The signal appeared to originate from within the television itself. Further analysis of the affected sets revealed subtle modifications to their internal components, modifications that defied conventional electronics manufacturing. It was as if the televisions had somehow been altered to receive and project a signal from an unknown origin. The content of SCP-1173 is described as a reality television program featuring a group of individuals living together in a seemingly ordinary suburban house. However, the events depicted become increasingly surreal and disturbing. Normal domestic activities gradually give way to bizarre rituals, impossible occurrences, and unsettling interactions between the housemates. The camera work is erratic, often focusing on mundane details for extended periods, before abruptly shifting to moments of intense, inexplicable action. One of the most disturbing aspects of SCP-1173 is the apparent awareness of the individuals within the broadcast. They have been observed looking directly at the camera, sometimes displaying expressions of fear or distress, as if aware of being watched. On rare occasions, they have even appeared to attempt to communicate with the viewers through gestures or by holding up hastily made signs with indecipherable messages. Foundation researchers have noted a correlation between the level of viewer engagement and the likelihood of disappearance. Individuals who report feeling a strong connection to the show or its characters are at a higher risk. The exact mechanism of how viewers are consumed by SCP-1173 remains unknown. Theories range from a subtle mimetic effect that gradually erodes the viewer's connection to reality to a more direct form of anomalous transportation linked to prolonged exposure. The existence of SCP-1173 raises unsettling questions about the nature of reality, perception, and the power of media. Could this be a glimpse into another dimension bleeding into our own through the medium of a television broadcast? Or is it something far stranger, a form of parasitic entertainment that literally feeds on its audience? The debate among Foundation scientists about the true nature of SCP-1173 is ongoing, with some even suggesting a connection to ancient forms of ritualistic sacrifice, albeit now mediated through the cold glow of a screen. You cautiously reach out and touch the cold glass of the television screen displaying SCP-1173. The static seems to vibrate slightly beneath your fingertips. As you focus on the distorted images, you begin to make out fleeting glimpses of the interior of the house, a kitchen with outdated appliances, a living room with worn furniture, a hallway leading to unseen rooms. The banality of it is almost more unsettling than the occasional flash of something truly bizarre, a figure contorting in an unnatural way, a shadow that seems to move independently, a brief glimpse of an impossible geometry in the architecture. As you continue to observe, you notice a subtle shift in your perception. The buzzing from the television seems to intensify, and the edges of your vision begin to blur slightly. You feel a strange pull, a sense of being drawn into the world behind the screen. The mundane details of the house become strangely compelling, and you find yourself focusing intently on the lives of the unseen inhabitants. You start to feel a sense of familiarity with the individuals within the broadcast, even though their faces are often obscured by static or shadow. You begin to anticipate their actions, to feel their unease during the more disturbing moments. It's as if you're becoming a silent observer in their strange, unfolding drama. Suddenly, one of the figures on screen turns directly towards the camera. Its face is gaunt, and its eyes seem to pierce through the static, locking onto yours. A flicker of recognition, or perhaps desperation, crosses its features. For a fleeting moment, you feel an intense connection to this unknown person, a shared sense of being trapped within this bizarre reality. A wave of dizziness washes over you, and the room around you seems to waver. The static from the television becomes a deafening roar, and the distorted colors swirl and coalesce. You feel a strong urge to step closer to the screen, to somehow reach through the glass and into the world beyond. You fight against this urge, a primal instinct screaming that something is terribly wrong. You stumble backward, breaking your gaze from the screen. The dizziness slowly subsides, and the buzzing from the television recedes to a more tolerable level. The feeling of being pulled into the broadcast diminishes, but a lingering sense of unease remains. You realize the insidious nature of SCP-1173. It doesn't simply display a disturbing program. It actively draws its viewers in, blurring the lines between observer and participant. The more you watch, the more connected you become, the more susceptible you are to its anomalous effects. It's a form of entertainment that doesn't just capture your attention, it seems to want to capture something more fundamental. The Foundation's attempts to understand this connection are ongoing. Some researchers believe that SCP-1173 operates on a subconscious level, exploiting the human desire for connection and narrative. Others theorize a more direct psychic link, a form of anomalous resonance that binds the viewer to the broadcast. Whatever the mechanism, the danger is clear. Prolonged exposure to SCP-173 can lead to your complete disappearance, your consciousness, or perhaps even your physical form, somehow being absorbed into the terrifying reality behind the screen. It makes you wonder if anyone has ever tried just unplugging the darn thing. You decide to investigate the origins of the television set itself. You carefully examine its make and model, noting the outdated technology and the subtle, non-standard modifications to its internal circuitry. There are no identifying marks or serial numbers that could trace it back to a specific manufacturer. It's as if the television was custom built for this singular, disturbing purpose. You delve into the files recovered from the initial investigation in the affected town. Witness testimonies from neighbors and family members paint a disturbing picture of the victim's descent into obsession. They describe individuals becoming increasingly withdrawn, their lives revolving solely around the broadcast. They would neglect their work, their families, and even their basic needs, their eyes glued to the flickering screen for hours on end. One recurring detail in the testimonies is the viewer's increasing belief that they could somehow interact with the individuals on the show. They would talk to the screen, offer advice, and express concern for the well-being of the seemingly trapped housemates. This suggests that SCP-1173 not only draws viewers in, but also fosters a strong sense of empathy and identification. You come across a particularly unsettling account from the spouse of one of the missing individuals. They described their partner becoming convinced that one of the figures on the show was trying to communicate directly with them. They claimed that the figure would look directly at the screen and mouth their name, a detail that sent chills down your spine. Analysis of the broadcast itself has yielded little concrete information about its origin or purpose. The signal seems to exist outside the normal electromagnetic spectrum, making it difficult to trace. Attempts to record or analyze the broadcast have often resulted in corrupted data or equipment malfunctions. It's as if the signal actively resists being understood or documented. One fringe theory among Foundation researchers suggests that SCP-1173 might be a form of psychic projection, a manifestation of the collective unconscious of a group of individuals trapped within the anomalous house. This theory attempts to explain the apparent awareness of the figures on screen and the viewer's strong emotional connection to them. However, it fails to fully account for the physical disappearance of the viewers. Another, more disturbing hypothesis proposes that SCP-1173 is a form of interdimensional gateway, and the viewers are being transported to the reality depicted on screen. This theory is supported by the complete absence of the missing individuals after their disappearance. However, it raises the terrifying question of what happens to them once they enter this bizarre televised world. Are they integrated into the show, becoming new participants in its surreal drama? Or do they face a far more sinister fate at the hands of the distorted inhabitants? As you ponder these unsettling possibilities, you glance back at the television screen. The static momentarily clears, and you see a fleeting image of one of the housemates looking directly at the camera, a look of utter despair on their face. For a brief second, you feel a pang of empathy so strong it's almost physical. The line between observer and participant feels dangerously thin, and you realize that merely watching SCP-1173 might be a form of invitation. It's a stark reminder that some channels are best left untuned. Days turn into nights as you delve deeper into the mystery of SCP-1173. You find yourself immersed in a growing collection of fragmented data, witness interviews, and failed attempts to understand the anomalous broadcast. The more you learn, the more unsettling the phenomenon becomes. It's like trying to grasp smoke. Every piece of information seems to slip through your fingers, leaving you with more questions than answers. You begin to notice subtle patterns in the disappearances. The victims weren't just passive viewers. They actively engaged with the broadcast, talking to the screen, expressing strong emotions about the events unfolding within the house, and even attempting to predict the actions of the inhabitants. It's as if their emotional investment somehow made them more vulnerable. One particularly disturbing case involves an elderly woman who became convinced that one of the figures on the show was her long-lost son. She would spend hours recounting family stories to the screen, her voice filled with a mixture of hope and sorrow. Her disappearance coincided with an episode where the figure she believed to be her son looked directly at the camera and mouthed a single garbled word that the woman swore sounded like her son's name. You examine recordings of the broadcast, frame by frame, searching for any clues. The surreal events within the house become increasingly bizarre. Gravity seems to fluctuate. Objects appear and disappear without explanation, and the interactions between the housemates become more ritualistic and unsettling. Yet amidst the chaos, there are fleeting moments of normalcy, a brief glimpse of a mundane conversation or a familiar domestic scene that only serves to heighten the overall sense of wrongness. You notice that the architecture of the house itself seems to shift and change subtly between episodes. Doors appear where there were none before, hallways extend into impossible spaces, and the layout of the rooms seems to defy Euclidean geometry. This suggests that the reality depicted on SCP-1173 is not static, but is itself in a state of flux, possibly influenced by unknown forces or entities. The Foundation has deployed various experimental technologies in an attempt to interact with the broadcast or the world behind it. Attempts to send signals into the television have yielded no results. Probing the electromagnetic spectrum around the affected television sets has revealed nothing unusual. It's as if SCP-1173 exists on a different plane of reality, one that our current scientific understanding struggles to comprehend. One particularly daring experiment involved equipping a D-class personnel with a video camera and sending them into a house that was actively displaying SCP-173. The individual disappeared shortly after entering the house, and the camera feed abruptly cut out. The recovered camera contained only static, further deepening the mystery. Analysis of the static itself has revealed faint, recurring patterns, complex geometric shapes, and what appear to be fragments of an unknown language. Some researchers believe that these patterns might hold the key to understanding the origin and nature of SCP-1173, but deciphering them has proven to be a monumental task. The ethical implications of SCP-1173 are also a subject of intense debate within the Foundation. Should they attempt to interfere with the broadcast, potentially endangering the individuals trapped within? Or is their priority to contain the phenomenon and prevent further disappearances, even if it means leaving the victims to their unknown fate? The lack of understanding about the nature of the reality behind the screen makes any intervention incredibly risky. It's a grim reminder that sometimes the most humane course of action is to simply not touch the dial. You begin to explore the possibility that SCP-1173 is not a recent phenomenon. You delve into historical archives, searching for any similar reports of anomalous television broadcasts or mass disappearances linked to specific programs. The search yields some unsettling parallels. You uncover old legends and folklore from various cultures that speak of mirror worlds or painted landscapes that can draw people in. These tales often involve individuals becoming entranced by a particular image or reflection, and then vanishing without a trace, seemingly pulled into another reality. While these are just stories, they resonate eerily with the observed effects of SCP-1173. You find a particularly disturbing account from the early days of television broadcasting. It describes a short-lived, low-budget program that aired on a little-known channel. Viewers reported feeling an intense sense of unease while watching the show, describing the actors as moving and speaking in a strangely unnatural way. There were also rumors of viewers experiencing vivid nightmares and a feeling of being watched after the broadcast ended. The show was abruptly canceled after only a few episodes, with no clear explanation. Could this have been an early manifestation of SCP-1173 or a related anomaly? You also come across classified Foundation files detailing other reality-altering anomalies that operate through visual or auditory mediums. SCP-, for instance, is a series of photographs that subtly alter the viewer's perception of reality over time. SCP-1173 is an audio recording that induces a state of hypnotic suggestibility in listeners. While these anomalies differ in their specifics, they share the common thread of influencing or manipulating human consciousness through media. This broader context suggests that SCP-1173 might be part of a larger, more complex phenomenon, a category of anomalies that exploit our innate tendency to engage with and be influenced by media. It raises the chilling possibility that our increasingly mediated world might be more vulnerable to such intrusions than we realize. You revisit the static patterns you identified in the SCP-1173 broadcast. With the help of Foundation linguists and cryptographers, you begin to make some tentative progress. The patterns appear to be a form of complex symbolic language, unlike anything known on Earth. Some of the symbols seem to depict architectural structures that resemble the shifting layout of the house in the broadcast. Others appear to represent abstract concepts or entities that defy easy translation. One recurring symbol bears a striking resemblance to an ancient sigil associated with interdimensional travel in occult texts. While the Foundation generally dismisses such esoteric connections, the visual similarity is unsettling. Could SCP-1173 somehow be linked to forces or entities from beyond our reality? The more you learn, the more you realize the profound implications of SCP-1173. It's not just a disturbing television show, it's a potential window into another reality, a reality that seems to have a sinister interest in our own. The viewers who disappear are not just victims, they are participants in an unknown drama, their fates uncertain in a world that consumes its audience. It makes you wonder if turning off the television is enough, or if once you've tuned in, a part of you remains connected to the static-filled screen. A breakthrough in the deciphering of the static patterns sends a new wave of urgency through the research team. The linguistic analysis suggests that the symbols are not merely descriptive, but possess a form of active influence. Certain sequences appear to function as mimetic triggers, subtly altering the viewer's perception and increasing their susceptibility to the anomalous effects of SCP-1173. Specifically, one recurring sequence seems to induce a feeling of intense longing and identification with the individuals trapped within the broadcast. This could explain why viewers become so emotionally invested in the show and begin to believe they can interact with its inhabitants. It's a form of psychological manipulation embedded within the very fabric of the signal. Another decoded sequence appears to relate to spatial manipulation, possibly explaining the shifting architecture of the house within the broadcast. It suggests that the reality depicted on SCP-1173 is not fixed, but is constantly being reshaped and rearranged according to unknown rules or intentions. The most disturbing discovery is the potential translation of a symbol that appears frequently during moments of viewer disappearance. While the translation is tentative and debated among the linguistic team, one interpretation suggests it represents a form of gateway or transfer. This lends further credence to the theory that viewers are not just psychologically affected, but are being physically transported to the reality behind the screen. You begin to hypothesize about the nature of this other reality. If the house and its inhabitants are constantly shifting and the viewers are being drawn into it, what is the purpose of this bizarre phenomenon? Is it a form of entertainment for entities beyond our comprehension? A twisted experiment? Or something far more sinister, a form of parasitic invasion where our reality is slowly being bled into another? The Foundation intensifies its efforts to contain SCP-1173. Attempts are made to block the signal using advanced electromagnetic shielding, but these prove largely ineffective. The anomalous broadcast seems to exist outside the normal parameters of our understanding of physics. A controversial proposal is put forward to attempt to communicate directly with the entities behind SCP-1173. The risks are immense, but the potential for understanding or even reversing the disappearances is deemed too significant to ignore. A team of researchers, including yourself, is assembled to devise a method of sending a message into the broadcast. The plan involves using a modified television set to transmit a carefully constructed sequence of the decoded symbols, hoping to establish a form of dialogue. The experiment is fraught with uncertainty. There is no guarantee that the entities behind SCP-1173 will understand or respond. There is also the very real danger of provoking an even more hostile reaction. As the experiment commences, a palpable tension fills the room. The modified television screen flickers to life, displaying the carefully crafted sequence of symbols. For a long, agonizing moment, nothing happens. Then, the static on the original SCP-1173 television begins to shift and coalesce. Faint symbols begin to appear within the static, mirroring the sequence being transmitted. A collective gasp fills the room. They are responding. The communication is slow and painstaking. The entities on the other side seem to have a limited understanding of our language and concepts. However, through careful repetition and the use of visual symbols, a rudimentary form of dialogue begins to emerge. The messages received are cryptic and unsettling. They speak of consumption, of new participants, and of the viewers being integrated. One recurring message sends a chill down your spine. The show must go on. The true horror of SCP-1173 begins to dawn on you. It is not merely a reality television show. It is a form of predatory entertainment that actively seeks out and absorbs its viewers, integrating them into its bizarre and terrifying reality. The individuals within the broadcast are not actors. They are the consumed, trapped in a perpetual performance for an unknown audience. And you, by watching, by engaging, have become a potential participant in their nightmare. The remote control suddenly feels like the most dangerous object in the room. The communication abruptly ceases. The static on the SCP-1173 television intensifies and the symbols disappear. A wave of oppressive silence descends upon the room. The experiment is over, but the terrifying implications of what you have learned will linger long after the screens go dark. Now, let the intensity of that revelation slowly fade. Allow your mind to drift away from the unsettling implications of the consuming television. Imagine you are walking through a field of tall grass, swaying gently in a light breeze. The sun is setting on the horizon, casting long, warm shadows across the landscape. The air is filled with the peaceful chirping of crickets and the distant call of a bird. Each step you take rustles the dry grass, creating a soft, soothing sound. The images of the flickering television screen and the cryptic symbols begin to dissipate, replaced by the gentle hues of the twilight sky. The feeling of unease slowly melts away, like mist in the morning sun. You are safe here, surrounded by the quiet beauty of the natural world. Feel the soft earth beneath your feet, the gentle warmth of the fading sunlight on your skin. Breathe deeply, inhaling the fresh, clean air and exhaling any remaining tension. There is no need to dwell on the mysteries you have encountered. Let them recede into the realm of stories, of things that exist only in the realm of imagination. The world around you is calm and peaceful. Allow yourself to be enveloped by this tranquility. Let your thoughts slow down, your body relax, and your mind become still. The day is done, and the night offers a chance for rest and renewal. All right, folks, settle in. Tonight, we're diving deep into the dusty corners of history, the kind of history that makes you question everything you thought you knew. Picture this. You're curled up in your favorite blanket. Maybe a cat is purring softly beside you. The rain is pattering gently against the window. A perfect cozy scene, right? Well, tonight's tale might just make you double check if that purring is actually coming from a cat. You probably wouldn't last 5 minutes in the reality we're about to explore. So before you get too comfortable, take a quick moment to like this video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely dig what I'm putting out here. And hey, drop a comment below with your location and the time where you are right now. It's always wild to see where in the world you're tuning in from. Now kill the lights, turn on that fan for some nice white noise, and let's piece together the fragments of a forgotten civilization. You awaken in a dimly lit chamber. The air is thick with the scent of dust and something else, something metallic and faintly ozone-like. Your head throbs with a dull ache, and your limbs feel heavy, unresponsive. You try to sit up, but your muscles protest with a chorus of groans. The floor beneath you is cool and smooth, like polished stone that hasn't seen the light of day in centuries. As your vision slowly clears, you begin to make out the shapes around you. Carved symbols adorn the walls, intricate patterns that seem to writhe in the flickering light emanating from an unseen source. They are unlike any language you've ever encountered, a bizarre fusion of geometric precision and organic curves. One thing is immediately clear. You are not where you're supposed to be. There's a profound sense of wrongness about this place, a feeling that you've stumbled into a secret that was never meant to be found. You push yourself up onto your elbows, scanning the chamber. In the center of the room, you notice a pedestal made of the same dark stone as the floor. Upon it rests a single object, a crystalline shard pulsing with a faint internal light. It hums softly, a barely audible vibration that seems to resonate deep within your bones. You feel an inexplicable pull towards it, a curiosity mixed with a primal sense of unease. As you attempt to stand, your hand brushes against something cold and metallic on the floor beside you. It's a small, intricately crafted device, no larger than your palm. Its surface is covered in the same strange symbols that adorn the walls, and a series of tiny, unblinking lights flicker across its surface. You pick it up, its weight surprising for its size. It feels strangely familiar, as if a long-forgotten memory is trying to surface. You fiddle with it, your fingers tracing the alien glyphs. Nothing happens. It remains stubbornly inert. The silence of the chamber is broken only by the faint hum of the crystalline shard and your own ragged breathing. You try to recall how you got here, but your mind is a frustrating blank. The last thing you remember is, what exactly? A nagging sense of something important, something you should remember, dances just beyond the reach of your conscious thought. It's like trying to grasp smoke. The harder you try, the more it slips away. You notice a narrow passage leading out of the chamber, shrouded in shadow. Hesitantly, you move towards it, your bare feet soundless on the smooth stone. The air grows colder as you approach the opening, carrying a faint whisper of wind and a new scent, damp earth and decay. You pause at the threshold, a knot of apprehension tightening in your stomach. Every instinct screams at you to turn back, to retreat into the relative safety of the chamber. But the pull of the unknown, The desperate need to understand where you are and how you got here propels you forwards into the darkness. You step into the passage, the darkness swallowing you whole for a moment before your eyes begin to adjust. The air here is heavy, thick with the smell of mildew and something vaguely sweet, like overripe fruit. The walls are rough-hewn stone, damp to the touch, and the passage twists and turns unpredictably. You run your hand along the cold surface, trying to maintain your bearings in the oppressive gloom. The only sound is the echo of your own hesitant footsteps and the distant, almost imperceptible hum that seems to emanate from the very rock around you. As you navigate the winding passage, you notice more of those strange symbols etched into the stone. Sometimes they appear individually, other times in long flowing sequences that seem to tell a story you can't comprehend. You try to decipher them, to find a pattern, a clue, but they remain stubbornly enigmatic. It's like trying to read a language that exists just beyond the limits of your perception. The passage eventually opens into a larger cavern, its ceiling lost in shadow. A faint, ethereal glow emanates from clusters of bioluminescent fungi clinging to the walls, casting the cavern in an eerie, pulsating light. In the center of the cavern, you see a vast chasm, its depths invisible. A rickety-looking bridge, constructed from what appears to be woven vines and bone, spans the chasm. It sways gently in a non-existent breeze, and the sight of it makes your stomach clench. You have a distinct feeling that crossing it is the only way forward. Beside the chasm, you notice more remnants of this forgotten civilization. Crumbling structures, overgrown with strange, luminous moss, hint at a once thriving community. You see fragments of pottery, adorned with the same intricate symbols, and tools made from obsidian-like material. There's a palpable sense of history here, a weight of ages that presses down on you. It's a stark reminder that civilizations rise and fall, leaving behind only whispers and ruins. As you examine a particularly well-preserved piece of pottery, you notice a series of small indentations along its rim. Running your finger over them, you feel a faint vibration, and the air around you seems to shimmer momentarily. It's a subtle effect, almost imperceptible, but you can't shake the feeling that it was significant. Could these indentations be some form of ancient technology, a way to interact with these objects? Suddenly, a low growl echoes through the cavern, sending a shiver down your spine. It's a sound unlike anything you've ever heard before, guttural and resonant, and it seems to come from the shadows beyond the chasm. Your heart pounds in your chest. You are not alone here. Whatever inhabited this place is still present, lurking in the darkness. The cozy blanket and purring cat from your initial imaginings feel like a distant dream now. This is real, and it's dangerous. The bioluminescent fungi cast long, dancing shadows that play tricks on your eyes. Every rustle and creak of the ancient structures sounds like the approach of something unseen. You grip the metallic device you found earlier, its cold surface a small comfort in the growing dread. You have no idea what it is, or if it can even protect you, but it's the only thing you have. The growling sound comes again, closer this time. You instinctively back away from the chasm, your eyes scanning the shadows, trying to pinpoint the source of the threat. You realize with a jolt that you are completely vulnerable. You have no weapons, no knowledge of this place, and no memory of how you arrived. You are a stranger in a strange land, and something is hunting you. Panic begins to bubble in your chest. You need to move, to find somewhere to hide, but the cavern offers little in the way of shelter. The crumbling structures are too exposed, and the shadows seem to writhe with unseen movement. Your gaze falls back on the precarious bridge, spanning the chasm. It looks incredibly dangerous. A fall would surely mean certain death, but it might be your only escape. Taking a deep breath, you try to calm your racing heart. You tell yourself that you need to think clearly, to assess the situation, but the primal fear of the unknown, of the unseen predator lurking in the shadows, makes rational thought feel almost impossible. You take a tentative step towards the bridge, the woven vines creaking ominously under your weight. The chasm below seems to yawn open, a dark abyss that promises nothing but oblivion. As you place your second foot on the bridge, you hear a scraping sound behind you, closer now. You whirl around, your eyes straining to penetrate the gloom. Two glowing eyes appear in the darkness, burning with an eerie intensity. They are large and reptilian, and they fixate on you with a predatory hunger that chills you to the bone. You can't make out the creature's full form, but the glimpse of those eyes is enough to send a jolt of pure terror through you. There's no time to think. You lunge forward onto the bridge, scrambling across the swaying structure as quickly as you dare. The vines groan and creak beneath your weight, and the bridge swings precariously with each movement. You try not to look down at the seemingly bottomless chasm below, but the dizzying height and the sheer drop make your head spin. Splinters of bone dig into your bare feet, and the rough vines tear at your hands, but you push yourself onward, driven by the primal instinct to survive. Behind you, you hear the scraping sound again, followed by a heavy thud as the creature begins to cross the bridge. The vibrations of its movement send tremors through the fragile structure, making it sway even more violently. You can hear its heavy breathing now, a wet, rasping sound that sends shivers down your spine. It's gaining on you. You reach the other side of the chasm, collapsing onto the solid stone floor, your lungs burning, your muscles screaming in protest. You don't dare to look back, knowing that the creature is still behind you. You scramble to your feet and stumble into another dark passage, hoping to put some distance between yourself and the glowing eyes that haunt your vision. The passage twists and turns, leading you deeper into the earth. The air grows colder and damper, and the smell of decay intensifies. You can still hear the faint scraping sound behind you, a constant reminder of the danger that pursues you. You know that you can't keep running forever. You need to find a place to hide, or better yet, a way to defend yourself. As you stumble through the darkness, your hand brushes against something smooth and cold on the wall. You stop and feel around, your fingers tracing the outline of a large, circular indentation. In the center of the indentation, you feel a series of smaller, raised symbols. They feel strangely familiar, echoing the symbols on the metallic device you still clutch in your other hand. Could this be a lock? A mechanism of some kind? Hope flickers within you, a tiny spark in the overwhelming darkness. If you can figure out how to activate it, it might provide a way to escape, or at least slow down your pursuer. You pull out the metallic device and examine it in the faint gloom. The flickering lights seem to pulse with a new intensity as you hold it up to the indentation on the wall. Could this be the key? You carefully align the metallic device with the indentation on the wall, your heart pounding with a mixture of hope and trepidation. The raised symbols on the wall seem to mirror the glyphs on the device. With a trembling hand, you press the device into the indentation and twist. For a moment, nothing happens. Then, with a soft click, the device locks into place. A low rumble echoes through the passage, and you feel a subtle vibration beneath your feet. The circular indentation on the wall begins to glow with a faint internal light, the same eerie luminescence you saw in the first chamber. The air around you crackles with a barely perceptible energy. Behind you, the scraping sound stops. Perhaps you've activated some kind of barrier. As the glowing intensifies, the wall in front of you begins to shift. Slowly, silently, a section of the stone slides open, revealing another passage beyond. This one is wider and better lit, illuminated by glowing crystals embedded in the ceiling. The air here is cleaner, and the oppressive smell of decay is less intense. It seems you found a way deeper into this forgotten place. You pull the metallic device from the indentation, and the glowing on the wall fades, the section of stone sliding back into place with a soft thud. You quickly step through the opening before it closes completely, finding yourself in a long corridor lined with more of the intricate carvings. This corridor feels different, less like a natural passage and more like a deliberately constructed pathway. As you walk down the corridor, you notice alcoves carved into the walls at regular intervals. Within each alcove rests a strange artifact, intricately crafted tools, pieces of jewelry made from unknown metals, and clay tablets covered in the enigmatic script. You pause to examine one of the tablets. The symbols are dense and complex, and you feel a frustrating sense of knowing that you should be able to understand them, that the key to deciphering them lies just beyond your grasp. It's like a half-remembered dream, tantalizingly close, but ultimately elusive. One alcove contains a series of crystalline spheres, each filled with a swirling, luminescent liquid of a different color. As you reach out to touch one, you feel a faint warmth radiating from it. A shiver runs down your spine. These aren't just decorations. They seem to possess some kind of energy. Further down the corridor, you come across a larger chamber. In the center of the room stands a massive, intricately carved stone structure that resembles a stylized tree. Its branches reach towards the ceiling, adorned with glowing crystals that pulse with a soft, rhythmic light. The air in this chamber hums with a palpable energy, and you feel a strange sense of peace wash over you, a stark contrast to the fear and panic you felt moments ago. Around the base of the stone tree, you see more artifacts scattered on the floor, broken pieces of machinery, tattered scrolls, and fragments of what appear to be clothing made from a shimmering otherworldly fabric. It's clear that this chamber was once a place of great importance, perhaps a center of worship or learning. As you explore the chamber, you notice a series of symbols carved into the base of the stone tree. These symbols are different from the ones you've seen before. They are more abstract, almost mathematical in their precision. You trace them with your fingers, and a faint image flashes in your mind, a complex network of interconnected lines and nodes, pulsating with light. It's gone as quickly as it appeared, leaving you with a sense of profound mystery. Suddenly, A section of the wall behind the stone tree slides open, revealing another passage. This one is different from the others. It's brightly lit, and you can hear the faint sound of running water. Hesitantly, you approach the opening and peer inside. The passage leads to a vast underground river, its waters glowing with a soft blue luminescence. Strange bioluminescent fish swim in its depths, their scales shimmering like living jewels. Along the banks of the river, you see more of the crumbling structures, hinting at a larger settlement further downstream. A small, rickety boat, made from the same woven vines and bone as the bridge, is tied to a stone post near the entrance of the passage. This river seems like a potential escape route, a way to travel deeper into this underground world. But the thought of navigating the unknown waters in that fragile-looking boat fills you with a sense of unease. And what about the creature that was pursuing you? Has it given up, or is it still lurking in the shadows behind you? As you contemplate your next move, you notice something glinting in the water near the riverbank. It's a small, metallic object, half submerged in the glowing water. You reach down and pick it up. It's a pendant shaped like a stylized eye, and it's made from the same dark metal as the device you found earlier. The eye is inlaid with a small, pulsating crystal that emits a faint warmth. As you hold it in your hand, you feel a strange connection to it, as if it's resonating with something deep within you. You don't know what this pendant is, or what its purpose might be, but you have a feeling that it's important. You clutch it tightly in your hand, a small beacon of hope in the overwhelming mystery of this forgotten civilization. The river beckons, offering a potential path forward, but the unknown dangers that lie ahead are still a daunting prospect. You step into the fragile boat, the woven vines groaning under your weight. It feels precariously balanced on the glowing water, and every slight movement sends ripples across the luminescent surface. You untie the rope from the stone post and push off from the bank, the boat drifting slowly downstream. The gentle current carries you into the heart of the underground river. The sight around you is both beautiful and unsettling. The glowing water illuminates the cavern walls, revealing intricate carvings and strange, luminous flora clinging to the rocks. The bioluminescent fish swim alongside your boat, their ethereal glow casting dancing shadows. It feels like a dream, a surreal journey into the depths of the earth. But beneath the beauty, there's an undercurrent of unease. The silence of the cavern is broken only by the gentle lapping of the water against the boat and your own breathing. You can't shake the feeling that you are being watched, that unseen eyes are observing your every move from the shadows. As you float downstream, you pass by more of the crumbling structures of the forgotten civilization. Some are partially submerged in the water, their dark silhouettes casting long reflections on the glowing surface. You see archways that lead to submerged passages, hinting at a vast network of tunnels and chambers beneath the river. What secrets lie hidden in those watery depths? You notice strange devices attached to some of the ruins, intricate mechanisms made from metal and crystal. They appear to be powered by the glowing water, perhaps remnants of an ancient technology that harnessed the river's luminescence. It makes you wonder about the people who built this civilization, their ingenuity, and what ultimately led to their demise. Suddenly, The pendant in your hand begins to glow more brightly, its pulsating crystal emitting a stronger warmth. As it does, you feel a faint pressure in your mind, a fleeting image of a swirling vortex of light. It's gone as quickly as it appeared, leaving you disoriented and slightly nauseous. What triggered that? Could the pendant be reacting to something in the environment? Ahead, the river narrows, and you hear the faint sound of rushing water. The current begins to pick up speed, and your small boat is tossed about more violently. You grip the sides tightly, trying to maintain your balance as you are swept towards the unknown. The tunnel ahead opens into a vast underground waterfall, the glowing water cascading down into a dark abyss below. Your heart leaps into your throat. The fragile boat is heading straight for the edge. You frantically try to steer, but the current is too strong. Just as you are about to plunge over the edge, you notice a narrow passage branching off to the side, hidden behind a curtain of glowing moss. It's a long shot, but it's your only chance. You throw your weight to one side, desperately trying to maneuver the boat towards the opening. For a terrifying moment, it seems like you won't make it. The boat teeters on the brink of the waterfall, the roar of the cascading water filling your ears. Then, with a sickening lurch, the boat veers sharply to the side and enters the narrow passage. You are swept along the dark tunnel, the boat scraping against the rough walls. The glowing water provides the only light, and you can see strange, phosphorescent markings on the tunnel walls. The pendant in your hand continues to glow, and the pressure in your mind intensifies. The tunnel eventually opens into a large, circular chamber. In the center of the chamber, a massive crystal pulsates with a blinding white light, illuminating the entire space. The air here is thick with energy, and you feel a strange tingling sensation all over your body. As your boat drifts towards the center of the chamber, you see figures moving in the periphery. They are tall and slender, their bodies shimmering with a faint luminescence. They seem to be observing you, their movements fluid and silent. Are these the inhabitants of this forgotten civilization? And what do they want with you? As your boat drifts closer to the pulsating crystal, the luminescent figures begin to move towards you. They glide effortlessly across the chamber floor, their movements graceful and otherworldly. Their features are indistinct in the bright light, but you can sense a profound intelligence and ancient wisdom emanating from them. They don't appear hostile, but there's an undeniable air of mystery surrounding them. The pendant in your hand is now glowing intensely, and the pressure in your mind has become almost overwhelming. Images flood your consciousness, visions of a vibrant civilization, of intricate technology powered by glowing crystals, and of beings who seem remarkably similar to the figures approaching you. You feel a strange sense of recognition, a flicker of a memory that isn't your own. One of the figures raises a hand towards you, and as they do, the pulsating crystal in the center of the chamber emits a beam of light that strikes the pendant in your hand. A jolt of energy surges through your body, and the visions in your mind become clearer, more vivid. You see these beings working with the crystals, manipulating energy in ways you can't comprehend. You witness their society flourishing, their cities built with a technology that seems both advanced and organic. But the visions also show a darkness creeping into their world, a slow decay that begins with a subtle shift in the crystal's light. You see conflict, division, and a desperate attempt to understand and control a force that ultimately overwhelms them. The images become fragmented, chaotic, culminating in a cataclysmic event that shatters their civilization. As the beam of light fades, the figures stop their approach. One of them steps forward, and you feel a direct communication in your mind, not through words, but through pure thought. They convey a sense of loss, of a history forgotten, and a hope that you might be the key to understanding what happened to them. They show you more visions, focusing on the pendant in your hand. It was a key, a repository of their collective memories and knowledge, designed to be activated by someone from the outside world in the event of their downfall. They had hoped that one day someone would find their lost civilization and learn from their mistakes. The metallic device you found earlier, they explain, was an interface, a tool used to interact with their technology and record their history. The symbols you saw were a complex language, encoding not just words, but also concepts and emotions. They communicate that the creature that pursued you was a guardian, a remnant of their security systems that had become corrupted over time, reacting to any unfamiliar presence. Your activation of the wall mechanism was a signal, alerting them to your arrival. Now, they show you a path forward, a way to access the deeper levels of their civilization where more of their knowledge is preserved. They convey a sense of urgency, a feeling that the forces that led to their destruction are still present, dormant, but not entirely gone. They emphasize the importance of understanding their history, of learning from their triumphs and their failures. They believe that their story holds a warning for your own civilization, a lesson about the delicate balance between progress and destruction. With a final surge of mental energy, they transfer a vast amount of information into your mind, the basics of their language, the principles of their technology, and a more complete understanding of their history. It's overwhelming, but somehow your mind seems to absorb it, the knowledge settling within you like a long-forgotten inheritance. The figures then guide your boat towards another passage, a hidden doorway in the chamber wall. As you approach the opening, they communicate a final message of hope and caution. They entrust their legacy to you, urging you to remember their story and to share it with your own world. You guide the boat into the passage, leaving the chamber of the pulsating crystal and the silent, luminescent figures behind. The passage ahead is dark, but now you feel a sense of purpose, a weight of responsibility. You are no longer just a lost stranger. You are a carrier of a forgotten history, a link between two worlds separated by time and circumstance. The journey ahead is still uncertain, but now you have a key, a purpose, and the echoes of a lost civilization resonating within your mind. Relaxation segment, approximately 300 words. Let your breath become slow and even. Feel the gentle rise and fall of your chest, a peaceful rhythm that anchors you to the present moment. The images of glowing crystals and silent figures begin to soften around the edges, fading into a gentle haze. The weight of the forgotten civilization, the urgency of their message, slowly recedes, like a tide pulling away from the shore. Imagine yourself floating on a calm, starlit lake. The water is still and reflects the soft glow of distant constellations. A gentle breeze whispers across your skin, carrying with it the scent of night-blooming flowers. There is no sound but the peaceful lapping of water against the shore and the distant chirping of crickets. Each breath you take carries away any remaining tension, any lingering sense of unease. With each exhale, you release the need to understand everything, to grasp every detail. Allow your mind to drift, to wander without purpose, like a feather floating on the breeze. The journey through the underground world is now a distant memory, the strange sights and sounds fading into the realm of dreams. You are safe now, surrounded by a sense of calm and tranquility. The darkness outside your window is no longer filled with unknown threats, but with the quiet promise of sleep. Let your eyelids grow heavy, your limbs relax completely. Sink deeper into your pillow, feeling the soft support beneath you. The story of the forgotten civilization will wait for another time. For now, allow yourself to be enveloped by the soothing embrace of sleep. Let your thoughts drift and fade like whispers in the night. Good night.